Well, why don't all the commentaries get all this? All of our separation issues, why aren't all the open commentaries? That's not what they say, and that's not what they say. No, they don't. And they don't say what Acts 2:38 says either. And they don't say what one God says either. I'm not being measured by commentaries. I'm not being measured by you. I'm being measured by my measure, my pastor, that's taught me things by tradition and has taught me things by word. And I'm going to be measured by God and by Him. Preachers, that you said you've loved me and I have affected your life, I'm preaching to you. It's going home time. It's when everything that can be shaken is going to be shaken. Think twice before you change things in your life. Brother Tenney, another one that I allowed to measure me. He said, you better never move a fence until you know who built the fence. And I'd think twice if I were you before I'd start getting and wondering and studying. You know, at that youth camp altar, you didn't feel that way. You know, at that camp meeting service, you didn't feel that way. You didn't really care. You'd preach it. You'd say it. You were anointed of God. But the more we study and the more we learn and the more we get into our questions, I would think a long time before I move things in my life. Because there is a scripture that I have not preached it because the times in my life that God has given me for closing tonight, and here it is. For by one man's disobedience and obedience, for by as one man's disobedience, many were made sinners. And by one man's obedience shall many be made righteous for God. Brothers, measure it. The last time I read this book, it scares me, Brother Sism. Brother Mooney, it scares me. Mickey, it scares me. Mark, it scares me as I study this week. That's right. Because when I step in there, it's not me. Or it's not supposed to be me. I'm speaking for God. And He said, don't add to it. And don't take away from it. And we're real quick to measure somebody who is taken from. But we get sometimes a little slow when somebody's adding to. Right, left, north, south, east, west, conservative, liberal, up and down, over and out, good buddy. When you step in here, by my disobedience, Alexandria could be made to sin. Or by my obedience, Alexandria will be saved. What I preach, what I say, what I do is going to be weighed by God. Preach it as hard as you want to preach it. Preach it against fresh air. Go as left as you want to go. But you remember, God's going to judge you. I don't care how hard you lay it down, you're going to be held accountable. Whether it's hard or whether it's easy, He wants His word. And when you walk in there, it better not be a peer group push. You better not be somebody that says you don't have to do this or do that, that causes you to say, I don't have to do anymore. You better know that what I do is going to affect a whole bunch of people. We stand before God for as one man's disobedience. Cleanse yourself, 2 Corinthians 7:1. Cleanse yourself of all filthiness and spirit. Preachers that I have influence with, guard your spirit. We'll be held accountable for the things of the flesh as well as our spirit. Walk humbly before God. Keep your spirit right. Don't become unholy preaching holiness. Don't become unrighteous preaching righteousness. That's right. Open your heart up and say, God, create in me a clean heart. Renew in me a right spirit. Cleanse myself from all filthiness and spirit. Because one day, what was handed out to me at the river, when I started with you 55 minutes ago, what was handed you at the river. Brother Hal, if you can just help me for a minute to lose yourself as if this was the judgments of God. You don't know what I handed you. You just know you trusted me. Would you walk there and put it on that scales that I told you to number? Would you weigh it there? I don't know what it's going to do. But what was given to you as a kid, weighed and found, wanting, a little off, but you're pretty close. Good job, Brother Hal. Next in line, Brother Cornwell. Come measure. That's close, Merle. Good job. Anthony. Come weigh. Anthony, you got a problem. I weighed something out to you. I weighed something precious and dear out to you. Anthony, it was numbered. It was weighed. But Anthony, it's not the weight that I gave you. You have substituted something there, Anthony. You have changed that shekel of the temple for another shekel. And Anthony, It just ain't weighing out right. Gentlemen,